everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about clutter creep, more specifically how to prevent clutter creep from taking over your life. If you're new to my channel, I am a mom of two little boys. They create a lot of messes for me. For example, this is my backdrop right now. We've got a book, we've got toys, we've got Play-Doh all over the place. I will obviously get to that later, but when you have two kids, there's gonna be a mess, and honestly, they're probably the biggest reason why clutter creep is such a thing in my life. So I have a couple things that I wanna get done today, so I figured I would take you guys with me while I'm getting things done and talk about the ways that clutter creep kind of haunts me, and also some ways to prevent it from happening. So if you feel like your home is difficult to manage, your home is not bringing you peace, you find yourself cleaning the same messes over and over and over again, you're not making any progress on the clutter inside of your cabinets and inside your closets, and you just don't even know where to start, I post a ton of decluttering on my channel. I've been on such a journey the last couple of years to live a more minimal lifestyle and to declutter my family's home. So if you need some advice, some motivation, some tips, that is what I'm here for, and I would love for you to subscribe to my channel for more decluttering videos. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about one of the quiet ways that clutter creeps into your life. Piles. You head to the grocery store, you're exhausted when you get home, you leave the stuff on your counter, and then you just don't put it away. It seems innocent enough, but it kind of creates this snowball effect. You know when you're on a diet and you're eating really, really healthy, but then let's say you have a donut and you're like, well, I ate a donut, I might as well just eat whatever I want today and start over tomorrow. But then that one day turns into 2 days, turns into 3 days, and then before you know it, it's been a couple of months and you've completely fallen off of your diet. Clutter is kind of the same way. It starts out small, but then you're looking at that pile and you're like, wow, I don't want to deal with that. And then you're like, well, my house is already a mess because of this pile, so I might as well just keep it going. And then before you know it, you have a couple little piles here and there, and then they marry each other and they become a really big pile. And then you have a lot of big piles, and then it's just this whole giant task that you don't want to deal with. So for today's little decluttering tip, just put your stuff away when you get home. I brought this stuff home yesterday. We had a really, really busy day. I put away what was refrigerated and then I left out the other stuff, and now I need to take care of it before it becomes a bigger thing.
Trust me, I totally get it. Putting things away as soon as you walk in the door sometimes just sounds like the most difficult task in the world. I have been team procrastination pretty much my whole life, and kind of on that same topic, another area that clutter really creeps in for me is my car. We get home from being out, I only have so many hands. I don't grab all the trash as we're getting out, or I don't grab a bag, or I don't bring in a water bottle, and before you know it, my car looks like it hasn't been cleaned in 3 months. I think just choosing to be intentional and make sure you're doing things right away is probably the ultimate golden rule to staying ahead of clutter creep.
The pantry is a really tough one. That is where clutter creep really comes in for me. So something that I really have had to be more mindful of is making sure that I'm going through my fridge and my pantry before I go grocery shopping, cleaning them out, seeing what I have so that I'm not buying duplicates. I am definitely guilty of buying duplicates of something, not realizing that I already had it because it was buried inside of the pantry. So I encourage you to go through your pantry, go through your fridge before you grocery shop, really make a list and try to stick to that list when you go to the grocery store. And if you do end up with extras that you don't need, you accidentally bought a duplicate, I also encourage you to please donate things right now to your local food pantries. I know that this month, November of 2025, a lot of people are having a hard time putting food on the table, just with everything going on in the world. So especially as we inch closer to the holidays, any donations to the food pantry would be so appreciated. I'm gonna be a little bit harsh here for a second, but another kind of sneaky way that clutter builds up is laziness. So I right now have my dishwasher full of clean dishes and my sink has some dirty dishes in it. Sometimes I can have a tendency to not want to deal with emptying the dishwasher, so I'll let the dishes in the sink pile up. And again, it's kind of like that same mindset of, well, my house is already a mess right now, so I might as well just keep it going. And before you know it, you have a complete disaster all over the place. So in the spirit of not doing that, not letting the clutter and the laziness take over, I'm going to get my dishwasher emptied. I don't know what it is about emptying the dishwasher. It's something that I just really do not enjoy. And sometimes I have a tendency to procrastinate on it, but I'm determined not to let my house get cluttered and filthy. And really, it does not take me a very long time once I just commit to doing it. Me not doing my dishwasher, not emptying it, is pure laziness and only ends up making the task more difficult for me in the long run.
Now, if you're like me and you don't enjoy dishes, I think you're going to like today's sponsor. We're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsor, which is sous vide. They're one of my absolute favorites. I talk about my sous vide oven all the time. I use it all the time, so I'm really excited to be partnering with them for this portion of today's video.
When I really think about the fact that I have to make 3 meals a day, 7 days a week for the rest of my life, it makes me want to start crying, which is why I'm particularly excited about today's sponsor, which is sous vide. This is going to totally blow your minds and also change your life at the same time. If you've never heard of sous vide before, sous vide is a smart countertop oven and meal delivery service. You can pick from over 50 different chef prepared meals and get them delivered straight to your door. And then all you have to do, you guys ready for this? You scan the card from the meal onto your sous vide oven, you place all your ingredients into their trays, you close the door, and that's it. Sous vide will take care of the rest of it for you. And one of the coolest parts is that sous vide will actually keep your meals cold until it's ready to start cooking. So like, say you're going to work in the morning, you can scan your card, put all your ingredients into your 2 different trays, set them up in the oven, and then you can schedule what time you want it to be cooked. Sous vide will keep it cold until it's time to cook, and then sous vide will start cooking it so that it's ready at exactly 5 o'clock or 5:30 or 6 o'clock or whatever time you have set it for. So you could set this up in the morning and get home to a delicious dinner that smells amazing as soon as you walk in your front door and you didn't have to do anything. The sous vide oven also has over 15 different cooking modes. You can sous vide, you can bake, you can air fry. There's just so many different things you can do with this one appliance. You can also slow cook too, which I think is pretty cool. But the best part is that you get perfectly cooked, delicious meals that are not soggy and they're not microwaved. Sous vide offers a 100-day risk-free trial, so there's nothing to lose by trying it out. I promise you are going to love this. This has been my kitchen best friend for many months now. And with the holidays coming up, this would make an excellent gift to somebody in your life, or obviously you can just treat yourself. Just look at how delicious this meal turned out. It was so good and it was so easy to make. Sous vide took care of absolutely everything for me, and the best part is there's almost no dishes afterwards. Easy cleanup, delicious food, 100-day risk-free trial. There's literally nothing to lose, so give it a try. I will have all the links in my description box down below where you can check out the sous vide kitchen robot. And I just want to say the biggest thank you to sous vide for giving me back some time with my family and for sponsoring this week's video. Okay, so another kind of quiet way things get cluttered for me, especially in my cabinets, is when I don't put things back the way that they were intended to go. So for example, this bowl belongs to a set, and sometimes I might be too lazy to actually put the set all together and consolidate everything like this. Then as a result, I will have bowls that are just kind of out of place and taking up too much space in the cabinet when they could be consolidated together and look a lot better. And then the whole cabinet ends up just becoming a cluttered disaster that I have to then take everything out of it and go through it all in order to organize it. A way that I prevent that from happening is by just making sure that I'm actually putting things back the way that they're supposed to and not just throwing things in here and shutting the door. So to summarize, we have a tendency to make things a lot harder for ourselves than they need to be by just not wanting to take the 2 extra seconds it takes to put things away properly instead of just throwing them in a space and closing. Another kind of way that clutter can build up is when you buy something new to replace something else, but you don't get rid of the thing that you're trying to replace. So this actually we've had for a while. We really don't use it. Like, you can probably tell that it's actually not that used. This would look a lot worse if we really used it, but I really don't like the material that this is made out of. And again, like, I'm just worried about microplastics, and since you can see all the scratch marks and I can see pieces kind of lifting off, I want to get rid of this. Anyway, I have had this for a while sitting in the cabinet. We have not used it and I haven't gotten rid of it for some reason, but since I did buy this one, I'm just gonna get rid of this one instead of letting the clutter build up in the cabinet. In the age of social media, something that can really cause clutter creep is influencing, and I'm so sorry I'm even saying this because technically that is what I do for a living. I make YouTube videos, I promote products, I am paid by sponsors to create ads for them, and very grateful for this stream of income. But that being said, it's easy to be influenced into something that you don't need that is promising something. Like, for example, you're watching a beauty influencer and she's talking about this hair serum and how amazing it is and how soft her hair is and how it healed her split ends and it did this, that, and the other thing, and her hair's never looked better. And then you buy that because you're like, well, I need that, I want my hair to look amazing, and then it doesn't work for for you. And I'm not saying that the product is bad, I'm saying that different things work for different people. So just because you're seeing something that worked for someone else doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And then what happens is you end up with a plethora of products that you're not using that didn't work for you. Same goes for makeup and hair tools and skincare. Skincare is a big one because everybody's skin is so different, and what you can use on your skin and what's gonna work for your skin is probably very different than what I use in my skin and what works for my skin. So for me, Clutter Creep definitely comes in the form of beauty products because I'm seeing so much on social media and it makes me want to try things and buy things. I have worked really, really hard on changing my ways because one, I don't have a lot of storage space in my bathroom for that type of thing. So I honestly, truthfully cannot have a ton of that stuff, but also because I've come to the realization that not everything that works on someone else is gonna work for me. And also maybe I need to do a little bit of reflecting and figure out why I feel the need to buy all these things to try and make myself better, prettier, skinnier, my hair nicer, whatever. A really big way that I prevent clutter creep from coming in is by limiting my exposure to a lot of these beauty influencers. Back in the day, I used to buy pretty much anything if someone told me it was gonna make me look pretty. So trying to not do that anymore. Something else I love to procrastinate on is laundry. I'm just not someone that enjoys folding laundry, but again, it's one of those things that if you don't take care of the laundry as soon as it comes out of the dryer, or at least the same day that it's come out of the dryer, first of all, your clothes are gonna end up wrinkled. Second of all, you're just making more work for yourself in the long run, and it's going to demotivate you to do anything else. When I have a bunch of piles around my house of laundry or papers or just junk, whatever it may be that is not where it belongs, to me, that's like a signal to my brain that I have tasks that I need to do. It makes me stressed. And then I think I talked about this in a recent video. There's kind of this vicious cycle of you become stressed, you're overwhelmed, which interrupts your sleep, makes you tired, causes a lot of other physical symptoms as well. But then you also don't want to deal with the clutter because you're stressed and you're tired and the clutter gets worse, your stress gets worse, your exhaustion gets worse, and it's literally just a cycle that keeps on going until you break it. So one of the habits that I really try to do is to get the laundry put away the same day that I've done the laundry, just to make sure things are not piling up and becoming out of control and then causing me to slack in other areas of my home.
Something that helped me stop procrastinating on laundry is understanding how easy it actually is and how little time it takes me. I set a timer once to see exactly what I was stressing myself out about so much, and it literally took me 5 minutes. That was kind of the slap in the face that I needed, that there's really no excuse for me to put this off. And let me tell you, life is truly a lot better when you're not looking at piles of unfolded laundry all the time or digging through laundry baskets, trying to get yourself and your kids dressed every day. That used to be me, but it's not anymore.
For me personally, a way that clutter creeps into my life is by not taking care of something as soon as I notice it. So my sock and underwear drawer, we're all friends here, right? It's looking so bad these days. It's like completely full. I can barely fit anything in there. I also can barely find anything in there. And you know what's crazy is that I don't buy socks and underwear very often, so I genuinely don't know how it gets this cluttered. But we're gonna go through it today because while I'm thinking about it, I need to just do it and not let myself procrastinate on something until it becomes a massive job. But yes, my biggest piece of advice in this segment is to just make sure that you're taking care of something as soon as you notice it instead of letting it pile up even worse.
For a space like this in particular, it's definitely easiest to just take everything out of the space to go through it. If I tried to just dig through this drawer and pick stuff out, it would look just as unorganized when I'm done as when I started. Some spaces I'm totally fine with just picking and choosing stuff at a glance, but this drawer in particular needed a complete overhaul.
Okay, just went to turn this on and the battery's dead, so never mind. Okay, here's where we're at after. I went through my underwear off camera, but that's a whole pile of things that I'm gonna get rid of from inside of this drawer. So that looks a lot better. I feel like maybe it still looks a tad bit cluttered, but these are also really small drawers, and I do keep in here bras, socks, underwear, any shapewear, tights, like anything like that in this drawer. So there is a lot that needs to fit into one small drawer. So I'm not gonna beat myself up over it too much, but I'm glad I got this done. The next thing we're gonna do is make my bed. I don't have to tell you what a big difference this makes in your home and just having it look more tidy. The reason why it's still unmade right now at noon is because these two cats were always asleep in my bed, and I feel so much guilt when I wake them up out of their sleep to make the bed, but I really do want to make it, and they've had a few hours now to lay in it. Another big way that clutter can kind of creep into my house is through paper. So for example, mail coming into my house, and then also my kids' paperwork from school. I have such a hard time with this, but I know that the best thing to do is just go through it as soon as it comes through my door and make sure I'm recycling everything immediately. Especially when it comes to kids' schoolwork, that can be a hard one. I feel like you're either someone that's totally fine with just throwing it away, or you're someone like me who tends to hold sentimental value in that stuff, and you will hold on to it even if it's just scribbles on a piece of paper. But I want to encourage you that with time and practice, you can get over this, you can get better at this, and it's just a really easy way to stop the clutter creep from coming in by making sure that you're going through your mail and going through your kids' paperwork immediately and getting rid of anything that you definitely don't need. Another place that clutter can kind of creep in for me is our entryway closet. This is something that I have to stay on top of all the time. I have to make sure that I'm constantly putting away coats, going through coats, making sure I'm getting rid of any that are either just in poor condition or they no longer fit my kids, and not holding on to things for years that we don't need. We have a very small home. We have a very small coat closet. There's not a lot of room for extras, so I just have to be super mindful of this space. It's also the first space that you see when you walk into the house. So kind of going back to everything I was saying earlier about when something is untidy and you're like, well, I might as well just let the rest of the house become a mess now. It can kind of be that way with the entryway. It's just very demotivating to walk into your house and the first thing you see is a disaster in the entryway. So I'm trying to always make sure, again, I'm going through coats, going through hats, going through mittens, especially because that's something that you definitely lose the mate a lot of the time. So there's no point in keeping one that does not have its match. And also making sure that you're not keeping like a zillion reusable bags. I tend to keep mine in my entryway closet so they're easy for me to grab when I'm headed to the grocery store, but there's only so many that I can have, and I will kind of hoard them until I have so many that they're exploding out of the entryway closet. So just being more mindful about how many reusable bags you have can make a big difference. Okay, everybody, that's gonna be it for me today for my clutter creep video. I hope you enjoyed it and it gave you something helpful, some kind of motivation, some advice, maybe something you haven't heard before. I don't know. I just hope that you all enjoyed it. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Also, go follow me on Instagram. I feel like I never mentioned that I have one of those, but I do have an Instagram, so if you want to see more of like my day-to-day life, I do share a little bit more of that over there. But that's it for me, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll come back again next time for another video.